Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much for joining me here. Happy Monday to you. Hope you have an amazing day. Are you enjoying this sea of red in the market? It's quite fantastic, isn't it? It just depends on what side of the tracks you're on, of course. We are on the right side of the tracks at this time, which is nice because we did take a long from BlueZell yesterday, and we took a nice healthy amount of profit. In fact, let me just quickly share that with you if you're kind of curious what that looks like. What we're looking at here is for BlueZell. We took, there it is, 42% in 6 hours with a nice long there. And I believe our entry is at 13.2. So 13.2, and our next profit target is 15.25. So we are on target to hit that here hopefully soon. So we'll talk about why I feel like we're going to see that continuation. And of course, what potential realities are if we don't, right? Because again, this coin is fluctuating pretty consistently. And you got to recognize that you want to keep it safe with your trading and position sizing. So always recommend low leverage, low position size. And we took that 42% on a 5x leverage trade. Give you perspective. Some folks were 10 to 20x and took a lot more. I don't recommend that size because of the fact that this coin moving so fast, so quick, it can liquidate you quickly and then just turn itself right around. So that's a problem, but all the more reason to just be careful with what you do as you start to learn how to trade. Okay, so you do want to become a better trader again, jump on over to our Discord. We got some really cool folks over here and some great opportunities to kind of keep learning and growing once more with each other. So it's fantastic. And thank you again to all the support I've had here recently from some of my new members coming on over. We got a lot of new people coming over there. That being said, what is BlueZell going to do? So what we're going to do is we're just going to highlight a couple of important things here. Just kind of touch onto the weekly here first, because these are previous. What we've seen here so far is a significant amount of volume support once we level up to these new levels. What I mean by that is once we broke through the 11.2 range, we developed a tremendous amount of volume. Once we broke through 14, we developed a lot of volume. We're doing so right now. We have next levels here, by the way, based on previous week closures, previous resistances. Keep this in mind. At about 19.3 and almost 21.5 is a close approximate. So just know if the price continues higher, we'll see some rejection there initially, and ideally build a large amount of volume at those levels. Okay, so again, those are weekly closures. Keep in mind the reason why we look at weekly closures is because they are significantly stronger than daily 4-hour, 1-hour candlestick closures, right? Because again, it's a larger time frame, and we spent a lot of time at that area within a week or two, right? So, you know, are you going to take less data or more data? More data makes more sense, okay? That's what we look at that. Okay, so looking at the daily here, let's go ahead and just touch on a couple of things. We can see money flow index is coming up, right? We're increasing our money flow. We can see stochastic had a first convergence here recently. Now, it's usually the second one that we see the largest movement, so I do think that we could be still in the early phase of this next push up, but bottom line, we're looking pretty decent there if you compare that with the MACD here converging as well. Hasn't officially converged. I would say by this time tomorrow, if we're still at the current price point or higher, we will see that continue upwards, and that's a very, very positive sign. Taking a look here, of course, as well, we can see that we're above all these moving averages as per usual. So even yesterday when the price wicked down, it closed effectively right there at that same level at about 12.4. So we can presume that this trend is continuing, right? The 20-day SMA is letting us know that we're on the right side of the tracks. Okay, keep in mind, 50 is working its way up slowly, and that'll continue to work as a support range. But generally speaking, we have all bullish signs here on the daily. Okay, see if that's confirmed on the 4-hour. First of all, to touch on this here, TD sequential, we are at a 9. Keep in mind, this coin doesn't really give a crap about overextension, but note that when you're at a 9 on TD sequential, basically it implies we've had 9 4-hour candles, 36 hours of continuation to the upside. It's common for the price to want to pull back at that point. Now, this coin, once again, doesn't really have a history of hitting those overextended states. It kind of just goes where it wants, when it wants. So that doesn't matter too much, but it is a small factor. So keep in mind, there is potential for a pullback, but once more, we have a decent amount of volume if we take a look here. Not only coming into the coin here in the last 24 hours, but also right here if we look in just a little bit closer. You can see the largest amount of volume accumulation is right where the current price point is at and just below. So hypothetically, the price pulls back, we should experience some support in this range here. Okay? So there is a decent chance we could see the price pull back maybe to just say 13 or 14 range. But ideally, the overall trend here is still continuing higher, right? Overextension aside, we're looking good. Okay? So for the most part, these are really positive signs that we want to kind of pay attention to. RSI is not overextended just yet, which is fantastic. And of course, MACD is still converging, hasn't lost its momentum yet. Okay, so again, all positive signs here on the 4-hour as well. So if you combine that with the daily and the 4-hour, we're in pretty good shape, especially being above those key level resistances on the weekly. Okay, so we can close this week above the certain level, which I think was about roughly here at this level, about 13.8, then we're going to be in really good shape to see the next leg up here. Okay? And again, to touch on the next leg up, I get the question a lot, how much further could it go? Well, the most recent high is 17.6. Based on previous week closers, we see 19.4 as a close approximate, and then again, 21.5 after that. So bear in mind, the price does continue to break out. We break through this resistance level here. We might see like an ascending type of wedge pattern forming. We'll probably see a wick up to 19.3 and possibly as high as 21.5. So just know those are potential levels based on Fibonacci retracement of the last roughly 1 week. Okay, so the one week's worth of Fibonacci retracement levels gives us these kind of ranges. And in case you're curious, I really just pulled the Fibonacci from top to bottom here, the most recent high to the most recent low. Yeah, those are all things I teach in my trading academy. So honestly, if you're part of our community, make sure you watch those. Those are on our website. Those are private videos available to you if you are currently a member. If you want to become a member, by the way, too, we do have a discount going right now for our summer sale. Be sure to take advantage of that. It gives you Premium and Premium Plus. Also, I forgot to highlight this too. Premium Plus has been killing it rather. If you take a look here, we took profits from BNB Litecoin yesterday. We took a loss from XRP at 7.5%, but BNB 9%, another Litecoin trade. ETH at 5%, Litecoin 8.9%, ETH at 5%. So again, it just continues to stack up, right? So awesome stuff there. Slow and steady wins the race. Again, those are 5x trades too. As you can see, some consistency there. We try not to over leverage. And if you're if you've gotten wrecked with high leverage previously, this might be a good fit for you. And if you are one of those high leverage folks, that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. Just keep in mind, it's a very tumultuous scenario in trading. It's hard to be consistent with that kind of leverage. Just be careful. Protect your investments, right? Okay, so last thing we want to summarize with here, sorry I'm getting a little wordy here, is the 1 hour. And the main things I try to look at here is overextension, but you got to keep in mind we're not overextended. I mean, we did previously overextend into this resistance level. We saw an ascending type of bullish pennant pattern. Price broke out, retested the previous resistance as its new support low, and it continues higher. So I love that we're building a volume accumulation at this range between 14 and 14.5. That leads me to believe we're going to probably see further upside because of that. Just based on that volume support. Again, volume speaks very loud. If you don't listen to volume, you're doing yourself a disservice. And yes, there was a pun in there somewhere, because of course I know volume is an audible thing, and of course it does speak to you. But to me, a volume is probably one of the most important factors that I've used, and I like to use volume support. And we can see right now we have a tremendous amount of volume in the current range and just below, which tells us that price is going to likely sustain itself where it's at, because we have continued increase in volume. Okay, this volume isn't just fizzling out and just going nowhere. It's going up and increasing, and that's an important factor as to why this coin is sustaining itself. Last thing we want to recommend looking at is the Ichimoku Cloud here. This is one of my favorite indicators. It's awesome here in the sense what it's telling us right now. When the lagging span's coming into the price action, it kind of tells you don't want to take a long or a short. The conversion line is above the baseline, so it still tells us we got momentum to the upside, and we're currently above the cloud. While the cloud is kind of a little bit higher in the 15-cent range, we're not there yet. So ideally, in a perfect world, the price comes up and continues upwards here. But worst case scenario, it goes sideways here, then we got to consider that to be a resistance level, and the price may pull down. So if this continuation, this trend right now, doesn't go up in the immediate future, we could very well see a retracement, and if so, likely down to the 13 to 14 cent range based on previous volume support. Okay, so again, mostly safe here. This is exactly why I feel like our trade right now is fairly in good shape here, of course, and we're doing pretty well. But all in all, I'm not concerned with the price action pulling back significantly. While it could and has proven to do so in the past, especially when it ramps up like it does, it'll come back down. We could very well see a very similar scenario here, right? Could very well see this guy doing the same thing. So just be prepared for that, right? All the more reason to use low leverage, low position size so you can survive these ebbs and flows. Okay. Again, just friendly advice taken from somebody that's been trading for over 20 years. So I've learned a thing or two in the market. I started with traditional markets, crude oil, natural gas, and that was a lot of fun. But I hated the hours. Crypto is 24/7, so nice to be able to set it and forget it. All right, folks, thanks again for watching. We'll look forward to seeing you in tomorrow's video. Have a good rest of your day. We'll see you soon.